I never thought my own family could make me feel like a stranger in my own home. But here I am, standing in my Charleston kitchen, holding a gift that now feels like a punch to the gut. I'm Sylvia Hargrove, 70 years old, and I've just learned the hard way that love doesn't always mean loyalty. Stick with me, because this story of betrayal and quiet strength will hit you right in the heart. And trust me, you won't see the end coming. If you've ever felt pushed aside by the people you love most, drop a comment below and let me know I'm not alone. The morning sun filters through the high-arched windows of my historic Charleston mansion, catching the dust motes dancing in the air. I'm in my kitchen, the heart of this old house, where the wooden floors creak with every step and the walls hold 60 years of memories. My hands cradle a leather-bound book, its edges worn soft from time. A rare history of Charleston I found in a dusty bookshop on King Street. It's my gift for my son Ethan and his wife Rachel for their 20th wedding anniversary. I spent weeks searching for it, imagining their faces when they opened it at the Myrtle Beach getaway we're all supposed to share. I even wrote a letter to tuck inside, pouring out memories of walking these same streets with my late husband, Lawrence, hoping it might bring us closer as a family. I'm humming an old jazz tune, feeling lighter than I have in years, when I head to the study to grab some ribbon for the gift. That's when I hear it, a whisper from behind the half-open door. It's my granddaughter, Harper. Her voice is soft and hesitant. She says, "Mrs. Sylvia isn't coming with us, right? You said she'd make things weird." My heart stumbles. But it's Rachel's reply that stops it cold. "Don't worry, sweetheart. I've handled it. She doesn't belong at a place like that." Her voice is smooth, sharp, like a knife wrapped in silk. I freeze, the book heavy in my hands, my breath caught somewhere between shock and shame. I lean against the wall, my fingers tightening around the book's spine, as if it could anchor me. Rachel's words echo, "Doesn't belong," and they cut deeper than I want to admit. I've always known Rachel likes things picture perfect, her Instagram feed full of curated moments, but I never thought she'd erase me from the family portrait. I force my legs to move, stepping back to the kitchen, but the warmth of the morning is gone. The house feels too quiet. The ticking of the antique clock on the mantel louder than ever. It's the same clock Lawrence and I bought at an auction 40 years ago, a reminder of the life we built together. Now it feels like it's counting down to something I don't understand. Ethan walks in, his eyes glued to his phone, thumbs scrolling mindlessly. He's 45, broad-shouldered like his father, but there's a restlessness in him I've never quite pinned down. I clear my throat, hoping he'll look up. But he doesn't. "Hey, Mom," he says, voice flat. "About the Myrtle Beach trip. It's just going to be the four of us, you know? Me, Rachel, Harper, and Aiden. It'll be less complicated that way." His words land like a slap. But he doesn't even flinch. He rubs his hand on his jeans, a nervous tic I've seen since he was a boy, and I know he's not telling me everything. I manage a nod, my voice stuck somewhere deep. "Sure, Ethan," I say, forcing a smile that feels like it might crack. Rachel sweeps in, all charm and Chanel perfume, her blonde hair pulled into a flawless bun. "Oh, Sylvia, you're a saint for holding down the fort here," she says, her smile too bright, too practiced. "We'll be back before you know it." She touches my arm, but it's cold, like she's already somewhere else. Harper trails behind her, dark eyes flickering to mine, and for a moment I think she might say something. But she doesn't. She just bites her lip and follows her mother out the door. The click shuts, and the silence swallows me. I sink into a chair at the kitchen table, the book still in my hands, my letter peeking out like a secret no one wants to hear. I think about the Myrtle Beach villa Rachel bragged about, with its infinity pool and ocean views, a place she called paradise. Paradise, I mutter, a bitter laugh escaping. Guess there's no room for me in heaven. I set the book down, my eyes drifting to a framed photo on the wall. One of Ethan as a boy, grinning with a missing tooth, Lawrence ruffling his hair. I'm not in it. I was behind the camera. Always behind the camera. I stand, my knees unsteady, and walk to the window, watching their car disappear down the Oakline street. The mansion looms around me, its high ceilings and carved moldings a testament to the life I built with Lawrence. This house is mine. Bought with my mother's inheritance. Every brick a piece of my story. Yet somehow, I've let myself become a ghost in it. I think back to other moments, the company dinners Rachel forgot to invite me to, the Christmas party where she corrected my stories in front of guests. Small cuts, each one bleeding a little more of my place in this family. Then I see it, Ethan's phone, left on the counter in his rush to leave. The screen lights up with a text from Rachel. Make sure she doesn't suspect anything. Just say it's a short trip. My stomach lurches. Suspect what? I whisper, my voice trembling in the empty room. I pick up the phone, my thumb hovering over the message, knowing I shouldn't look, but unable to stop. Something shifts inside me. A spark of defiance I haven't felt in years. I'm not just holding down the fort, Rachel. I'm done being invisible. If this story's got you hooked, hit that subscribe button and let me know in the comments. What's the worst thing your family ever left you out of? Let's keep going, because trust me, this betrayal is just the beginning. The Charleston mansion feels emptier than ever with my family gone, the silence pressing against my skin like a heavy fog. I'm Sylvia Hargrove, 70 years old, and I've just been cut out of a family trip to Myrtle Beach, at my daughter-in-law Rachel's insistence. But what I find in the study today turns that wound into something sharper. A betrayal I can't ignore. The spark of defiance I felt yesterday is growing. And I'm starting to see, I'm not the one who should feel ashamed. I wander into the study, telling myself I'm just tidying up, but my hands are restless, searching for something to fill the ache in my chest. The room smells of old books and polished wood, a haven where I run my book club and plan fundraisers for the local museum. Ethan's desk sits in the corner, cluttered with papers and a coffee mug he never bothers to wash. I start stacking the papers, my fingers brushing against a manila folder tucked beneath a real estate magazine. It's unmarked, but something about it feels heavy, deliberate. I hesitate, my heart thudding, then open it. Inside is a typed document. A business plan to turn my mansion into a boutique hotel. My eyes snag on Rachel's handwriting scrawled in the margin. Convince Sylvia to sign over the deed after Myrtle Beach. Play up her need for rest. My breath catches, the words blurring as my hands tremble. I read on, each line a fresh cut. Estimated property value, $4.5 million. Projected revenue. A timeline that ends with my signature. They've been planning this for months. Right under my nose. Rachel's sweet suggestions that I should retire, let them handle the house, echo in my mind, now laced with a venom I didn't see before. I sink into Ethan's chair, the folder open on my lap, and stare at the framed map of Charleston on the wall, a gift from my late husband, Lawrence. This house, every creaking floorboard and stained glass window, was bought with my mother's inheritance. A legacy I swore to protect. Yet here they are, my own son and his wife, plotting to strip it away. I think of Rachel's polished smile. Her insistence that I stay behind to hold down the fort. Fort. I scoff, my voice harsh in the quiet. They didn't want me guarding this place. They wanted me out of the way. My phone buzzes, snapping me back. It's Miriam Tate, my oldest friend, probably checking in like she always does when she senses I'm low. I dial her number, my voice unsteady as I spill everything. The trip. The whispers. The folder. Miriam listens, her silence heavy with understanding. Then she says, Ethan asked me about valuing the mansion a few months back. Said it was for maintenance. But I knew he was fishing for something else. I grip the phone tighter, my knuckles white. Maintenance. I mutter, more like a down payment on their dreams. Miriam's words light a fire in me, one I haven't felt in years. I hang up and head to the hall closet where I keep the safe. My fingers fumble with the combination, but I pull out the deed. The paper is crisp and final. My name alone in bold print, Sylvia Hargrove, sole owner. I clutch it to my chest, a shield against the betrayal sinking deeper. I'm not some frail old woman they can shuffle off to a retirement home. This is my house. My story. And I'll be damned if they take it. I grab my coat and drive to the hardware store, the Charleston streets blurring past in a haze of live oaks and pastel facades. The clerk, a young man with a kind smile, helps me pick out new locks for every door. Back home, I call a locksmith. My voice steady as I explain I need the job done today. He arrives within the hour. And as he works, the clink of metal feels like a declaration. Each new lock is a line drawn. A boundary they can't cross. The mansion breathes with me, its walls seeming to stand taller. That evening, my phone lights up with Rachel's name. I let it ring twice before answering, my heart pounding, but my voice calm. Sylvia, she says, her tone dripping with concern. Are you okay? We're worried about you. All alone in that big house. I almost laugh at the audacity. But instead, I say, "The house is fine, Rachel. So am I." There's a pause, a crack in her composure, and she stammers, "Well, good. We'll be back soon." I hang up. My hands are steady now. I walk to the living room, where Lawrence's favorite armchair waits. I sit, the leather cool against my skin, and pick up our wedding photo from the side table. Lawrence's grin fills the frame, my younger self tucked into his side. Both of us oblivious to the years ahead. I trace his face, whispering, "How did I raise a son who could do this?" But the question isn't just for Ethan, it's for me. I've spent years bending, giving, thinking love meant swallowing my own needs. I set the photo down, my eyes drifting to the deed on the coffee table. Not anymore. I pour a glass of wine, the first I've had in months, and stand at the window, watching the street lamps flicker on. The mansion glows behind me, a fortress of memories and strength. Rachel thinks she's playing a game, but she doesn't know the rules have changed. Ethan's phone, still on the kitchen counter, buzzes with another text, but I don't look. Whatever they're hiding, I'll find it. For now, I've locked the door, and that's enough. The Charleston mansion stands firm around me, its new locks a quiet rebellion against the family who tried to erase me. I'm Sylvia Hargrove, 70 years old, and I've just uncovered my son Ethan and daughter-in-law Rachel's plan to turn my home into a boutique hotel. But what I find today cuts deeper than their greed. A betrayal so calculated, it shakes me to my core. The woman who once bent for love is gone. In her place is someone ready to fight. It's been 3 days since they left for Myrtle Beach, and the silence in the house has settled into something almost comforting. I'm in the study, sorting through papers to keep my hands busy, when my phone buzzes with Ethan's name. I stare at it, my thumb hovering, but let it go to voicemail. His voice crackles through, tense and rushed. "Mom, we're back early. Something's wrong with the locks. Call me." I stand at the window, peering through the lace curtains, and see their car idling at the curb. Rachel's out front, her arms crossed, pacing in her designer sandals. Ethan slumps against the door, phone pressed to his ear, while Harper sits in the back seat, her face hidden. I let the curtain fall, my pulse steady, and don't move. The doorbell chimes, sharp and insistent, but I stay rooted. Rachel's voice carries through the oak door, syrupy but edged with irritation. "Sylvia, we know you're in there. Let's talk this out." I almost laugh at the thought of her talking anything out that doesn't end with her getting what she wants. My silence is my answer. Soon, the car pulls away, leaving only the hum of cicadas in the evening air. I sink into the armchair, the one Lawrence loved, and close my eyes, feeling the house hold me like an old friend. But the calm doesn't last. The next morning, a letter arrives from a law firm. The paper is crisp and official. It's a demand for access to the mansion, claiming Ethan and Rachel have a stake in the property as residents. My stomach twists, but I know better. The deed, safe in my hands, names me alone. I call my lawyer, a sharp woman named Ellen, who's handled my affairs since Lawrence passed. I fax her the deed and the business plan I found, my voice calm as I explain the situation. She promises to shut this down, and I trust her. But I need answers. Something to make sense of how far they've gone. I turn to Ethan's computer, still in the study. Its screen is dark but unlocked. He's never been careful with passwords, a habit I used to scold him for as a teenager. I open his email, my hands trembling, and scroll through messages about real estate deals and open houses. Then I see it. A thread between him and Rachel, dated months ago. The subject line is blank, but the words inside hit like a fist. Rachel writes, "I'm telling her I'm pregnant at the beach. It'll push her to sign the deed faster. Trust me. She's soft for family." Ethan's reply is short. "Fine. But make it convincing." My breath catches, a cold sweat prickling my skin. Pregnant? A lie, woven to manipulate me, to prey on my love for a grandchild who doesn't exist. I keep reading, my heart pounding, and find another email from Rachel to an unfamiliar address. It's a private investigator, hired to dig into my finances, my health, anything to use against me. She writes, "Find something we can leverage." She's stubborn, but everyone has a weak spot. I lean back, my hands shaking so hard I have to grip the desk. Rachel didn't just want the house, she wanted to break me to get it. The betrayal isn't just greed. It's a campaign, calculated and cruel. I close the email, my mind racing, and check the joint bank account I share with Ethan, for emergencies. I've always trusted him with it. A safety net for the family. But when I log in, my blood runs cold. A transfer of $100,000, made 2 weeks ago, to an account I don't recognize. The memo reads, investment opportunity. I cross-reference it with Ethan's emails and find a message from a business partner about a failing real estate project. One Ethan never mentioned. He's been siphoning money to save his company, hiding it even from Rachel. The realization hits me. My son isn't just following his wife's lead. He's playing his own game. And I'm the pawn in both. I call the bank, my voice steady despite the storm inside, and freeze the account. No more transfers. No more access. I email Ellen the bank records and the emails, my fingers flying over the keys. She calls back within the hour, confirming the lawyer's letter is baseless. We've got them, Sylvia, she says. I'll draft a response that leaves no room for argument. I thank her, my eyes fixed on the deed, a lifeline in this mess. My phone buzzes again. This time, a voicemail from Rachel. Her voice is sharp, dripping with sarcasm. Sylvia, you think you're clever locking us out? This isn't over. I delete it, a small smile tugging at my lips. She's wrong. I'm not playing her game. I'm rewriting the rules. I call Ethan, my voice cold and clear. You chose a hotel over your mother, I say. Now you live with it. He stammers. Mom, it's not like that. But I hang up before he can lie again. I walk to the kitchen, where the antique clock ticks on, steady as ever. The mansion feels alive, its walls whispering strength. I pour another glass of wine, the first since that night I changed the locks, and raise it to the empty room. To you, Lawrence, I murmur. We'd have fought this together. I set the glass down, my eyes drifting to Ethan's phone still on the counter. Another text lights up the screen, but I don't need to read it. Whatever they're planning next, I'm ready. The Charleston mansion has become my fortress, its new locks and my resolve holding strong against the family who betrayed me. I'm Sylvia Hargrove, 70 years old, and I've just uncovered the depths of my son Ethan and daughter-in-law Rachel's deceit. From a fake pregnancy to a secret real estate scheme. But the fallout from my stand is unraveling them. And now, I face the wreckage of a family I once thought unbreakable. The pain is raw. But I'm learning that love doesn't mean letting them walk over me. A week passed since I froze the bank account and sent proof of my ownership to the lawyer, shutting down Rachel's attempt to claim the mansion. The house is quiet, the kind of stillness that feels heavy with what's been lost. I'm in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for a solitary dinner, when my phone buzzes with a text from Ethan. Rachel left, it reads. Took Harper to her mom's in Raleigh. I'm coming over. My knife pauses mid-cut, carrots forgotten, as a mix of dread and relief washes over me. I knew their marriage was strained, but this feels like the crack I saw coming when I found those emails. The doorbell rings an hour later, and I peer through the window. Ethan stands on the porch, his shoulders hunched, looking smaller than the man who tried to sell my home out from under me. I open the door just a crack, the chain lock still in place. Mom, he says, his voice rough, like he hasn't slept in days. I messed up. Let me in. Please. His red-rimmed eyes meet mine, and for a moment, I see the boy who used to bring me dandelions from the yard. But that boy is gone, buried under years of choices I can't forgive. Not yet. I unlock the chain, but my voice is firm. You can stay in the guest room tonight, I say. One night, Ethan. He nods, head bowed, and shuffles inside. We sit in the living room, the antique clock ticking like a heartbeat. The leather-bound book I meant to give them for their anniversary sits on the coffee table, a reminder of how naive I was. Ethan stares at his hands, twisting his wedding ring. Rachel's been planning this for years, he says. The hotel, the deed, all of it. I thought I could control it, keep her happy. I lean back, my arms crossed. And you thought stealing my home would do that? I say, my words sharp but quiet. He flinches but doesn't answer. The silence stretches, and I realize he's not here to explain. He's here because he has nowhere else to go. I stand, needing to move, and walk to the study. Ethan's confession stirs something I need to say, something I've held back too long. I turn to him, my voice steady. This house, I say, wasn't your father's. It was my mother's. Her inheritance bought every brick, every window. You had no claim to it, Ethan. And you never will. His jaw drops, his face paling as the truth lands. But Dad always said, he stammers. I cut him off. Your father let you believe what was convenient, I say. I did too. For too long. But no more. He slumps, the fight draining out of him, and I see the weight of his mistakes settle in. I leave him there and head to my bedroom, my steps heavy. As I pass the study, I notice the book on the desk, the one I found for their anniversary. It's open, and a folded piece of paper peeks out. My heart skips as I pull it free, recognizing Harper's loopy handwriting. I'm sorry I didn't say anything, it reads. I was scared of Mom. I love you, Mrs. Sylvia. My throat tightens, tears blurring the words. Harper. My sweet girl. Caught in the middle of her parents' greed. I clutch the note, my chest aching with love and loss, and sink onto the bed. I cry, for her, for the family we might have been. But I know I can't let this soften me. Not yet. The next morning, I meet with Ellen, my lawyer, at her office downtown. I tell her I want to transfer the mansion into a cultural preservation trust, ensuring it stays a community landmark forever. She nods, her pen scratching notes. It's a bold move, Sylvia, she says. No one can touch it. Not even your family. I sign the preliminary papers, my hand steady, and feel a weight lift. This house isn't just mine anymore. It's a legacy, one Rachel and Ethan can't twist into their schemes. Back home, I find a letter in the mailbox. Rachel's elegant handwriting marks the envelope. My fingers hesitate, but I open it. Sylvia. I was wrong. Let's start over, for Harper's sake. Her words drip with regret, but something feels off. I dig through the study and find an old note from her hotel plan. The handwriting is identical, down to the curl of the R. It's a ploy. Another performance to claw her way back. I tear the letter in half, letting the pieces fall into the trash. Rachel doesn't get to rewrite this story. Ethan emerges from the guest room, his face haggard. He tries to speak, but I raise a hand. You need to go, I say. This house isn't your home anymore. He nods, his eyes glistening, and picks up his bag. As he steps onto the porch, he turns. I'm sorry, Mom, he says, voice breaking. I know it's not enough. I close the door, the lock clicking softly, and lean against it. My heart is heavy, but resolute. He's right. It's not enough. But it's a start. I walk to the kitchen, where the clock keeps its steady rhythm. The mansion feels different now, not just a home, but a promise I made to myself. I pick up Harper's note, tucking it into my pocket. A reminder of what I still have. Rachel's letter. Ethan's apologies. They can't undo the past. But I've drawn my line, and for the first time, I'm standing on the right side of it. My Charleston mansion stands as a testament to my strength, its walls holding the weight of a family fractured by betrayal. I'm Sylvia Hargrove, 70 years old, and I've locked out my son Ethan and daughter-in-law Rachel after uncovering their schemes to steal my home. With the deed secured in a trust and their lies exposed, I'm finding my way back to myself. But a flicker of hope from my granddaughter Harper keeps me from closing the door completely. This isn't about revenge. It's about rebuilding what I lost, starting with me. 2 weeks have passed since Ethan left, his apology lingering like a half-finished sentence. The mansion feels lighter now, as if it's breathing with me. I'm in the study, surrounded by books and the faint scent of cedar, planning a fundraiser for the Charleston Museum. The book club I run has rallied behind it, and we've already raised $50,000 to preserve local artifacts. It's work that grounds me, a purpose that fills the spaces where family used to be. I sit at my desk, addressing invitations, when I decide to start something new. A book about the women of Charleston, their stories woven into the city's history. I type the first line, my fingers hesitant but sure. Their voices were quiet, but they built this place. It feels like a promise to myself, to be heard. The act of writing pulls me into memories of my mother, whose inheritance gave me this house. She was a schoolteacher, fierce and unyielding, and I see her in the words I put down. I'm so lost in the work that I almost miss the soft chime of my phone. It's a text from Ethan. Can I come by? I have something for you. My chest tightens, a mix of weariness and curiosity. I type back, 1 hour. No more. I don't trust him. Not after everything. But I can't ignore the part of me that still hopes. He arrives at noon, standing on the porch with a small box in his hands. His face is gaunt, lines etched deeper than I remember. And he's alone. I let him into the foyer, keeping my distance. He sets the box on the hall table and opens it, revealing a silver ring, its delicate band worn but gleaming. "It was Grandma's," he says, voice low. "I found it in a drawer. You always said it meant the world to you." I pick it up, the metal cool against my skin, and my throat catches. I'd given it to Ethan years ago, thinking he'd keep it safe for Harper. Instead, he tucked it away, forgotten, like so much else. I close my hand around it, meeting his eyes. "This doesn't fix anything," I say. He nods, looking at the floor. "I know," he says. "I just wanted you to have it back, you too." We move to the living room, where the antique clock ticks softly. Ethan sits on the edge of the couch, his hands clasped. "I've been thinking about what you said," he begins. "About the house. About you. I forgot who you were before you were my mom." His words hit hard, stirring a memory of teaching him to read in this very room, his small fingers tracing the words. I lean back, my voice steady. "You forgot a lot, Ethan," I say. "But I'm not here to remind you. You need to figure that out yourself." He looks up, his eyes searching mine, and for the first time, I see a glimmer of the man he could be. "I'm trying," he says. "I've started volunteering at the community center, helping seniors with their finances. It's not much, but it's something." I nod, not ready to soften, but I hear the effort in his voice. I shift the conversation, needing to set boundaries. "You can visit," I say, "but only if Harper comes. This house is open to her, not you." He agrees, his relief palpable, and I feel a small victory in drawing that line. As he leaves, I slip the ring onto my finger, its weight a reminder of my mother's strength, and mine. I return to my writing, the words flowing easier now, as if claiming that piece of my past has unlocked something. A few days later, Harper arrives, dropped off by Ethan. She's taller than I remember, her dark hair pulled into a messy braid, and her eyes hold a mix of guilt and hope. She runs to me, wrapping her arms around my waist. "I'm so sorry, Mrs. Sylvia," she says, her voice muffled against my sweater. "I should have said something about the trip. I was scared of Mom." I hold her tight, my heart swelling, and guide her to the study. "You don't need to be sorry," I say. "You're here now." We sit by the window, sunlight streaming in, and I pull out the manuscript I've been working on. I read her a page about a woman who ran a Charleston bakery during the Civil War, her courage quiet but fierce. Harper listens, her eyes wide, and says, "She's like you." I smile, my voice catching. "Maybe a little," I say. We spend the afternoon reading, the mansion wrapping us in its warmth. Harper's laughter, soft and unguarded, feels like a gift. As she leaves, she hands me a bookmark she made, a strip of paper with pressed flowers glued to it. "For your book," she says. I hug her again, promising she can come back anytime. After she's gone, I place the bookmark in my manuscript, a small piece of her to carry forward. That night, my phone lights up with a text from Rachel. "You win, Sylvia. But I won't forget this." I stare at the words, her venom no longer a surprise. I delete the message, my finger steady, and feel a quiet power in letting her go. She doesn't get to haunt me anymore. I walk to the kitchen, where the clock keeps its steady rhythm, and pour a glass of tea. The mansion hums around me, alive with the stories I'm writing, the legacy I'm building. I sit at the table, the silver ring glinting on my finger, and open my laptop. The fundraiser is tomorrow, and my book is taking shape, word by word. I don't need Ethan's apologies or Rachel's games to feel whole. I found something better. Myself. Harper's visit lingers, a fragile hope I'll nurture. But for now, I'm enough. The mansion, my mother's ring, the stories I tell, they're all pieces of a life I'm reclaiming. One I won't let anyone take again. The Charleston mansion glows under the winter sky, its windows warm against the chill of a December evening. I'm Sylvia Hargrove, 70 years old. And I've reclaimed my home and my heart. After my son Ethan and daughter-in-law Rachel tried to steal both, the mansion is now safely placed in a trust, and my granddaughter Harper is a fragile bridge to hope. I've found peace in my own strength. Tonight, as snow dusts the live oaks outside, I'm ready to close this chapter, not with anger, but with a quiet victory that feels like home. If you've been with me this far, grab a cozy drink and settle in, because this ending will leave you thinking long after the story's done. It's Christmas Eve, and the mansion is alive with soft laughter and the clink of glasses. I've invited my book club, a few museum volunteers, and my friend Miriam for a small gathering, the first holiday I've hosted since Lawrence passed. The dining room sparkles, candles flickering on the long oak table, and the scent of roasted turkey and pecan pie fills the air. I'm in a burgundy sweater, my mother's silver ring glinting on my finger, feeling more myself than I have in years. The fundraiser last month was a triumph, and my book about Charleston's women is nearly half written, each page a step toward healing. I'm arranging a tray of cookies when the doorbell chimes, a soft note that cuts through the chatter. I open the door to find Harper, her cheeks pink from the cold, clutching a wrapped gift. Behind her stands Ethan, hesitant, holding a paper bag. I smile at Harper, pulling her into a hug. "You made it," I say, my voice warm. She beams, her braids swinging as she steps inside. Ethan lingers, his eyes meeting mine. "I brought something," he says, his voice low. I nod, gesturing for him to come in, but my boundaries hold firm. He's a guest tonight, nothing more. We gather in the living room, where the antique clock ticks its steady rhythm, a reminder of time's quiet wisdom. Harper hands me her gift, a delicate necklace with a tiny silver charm shaped like a book. "I wanted you to have something for your stories," she says, her eyes bright. My throat tightens as I clasp it around my neck, the charm resting against my heart. "It's perfect," I say, pulling her close. She leans into me, and for a moment, the room fades, leaving just us, a grandmother and granddaughter finding their way back. Ethan sets his bag on the coffee table, pulling out a familiar leather-bound book, The History of Charleston. "I'd meant it for their anniversary. I found it in storage," he says, his fingers tracing the worn cover. "I wrote something inside." I open it, seeing his handwriting on the first page. "I'm learning to see you, Mom. Thank you for not giving up." His words hit deep, stirring a warmth I wasn't expecting. But I keep my expression steady. "This means something," I say. "But it's a start, not a finish." He nods, his jaw tight, and I see the weight of his effort, the slow climb toward redemption. The evening unfolds with stories and laughter. The book club debates their latest read while Miriam teases me about my pie crust. Harper sits beside me, her bookmark tucked into my manuscript on the side table, a quiet promise between us. Ethan stays on the edges, helping clear plates, his presence careful but present. As the night winds down, I step onto the porch to cool off, the snow falling in soft flakes, blanketing the street in silence. The mansion glows behind me, its windows casting golden light onto the lawn. I think of Lawrence. Of my mother. Of the women in my book who built lives from nothing. I'm one of them now. Not because I had to be, but because I chose to be. Harper joins me, her coat buttoned tight. "I'm staying with Dad for Christmas," she says. "But I want to come back. Maybe help with your book." I smile, brushing a snowflake from her hair. "You're always welcome," I say. "This house is yours too, in the ways that matter." She hugs me, her warmth a tether to the future, and heads back inside. Ethan steps out next, his breath fogging in the cold. "I'm trying, Mom," he says. "I know it's not enough. Yet." I meet his eyes, my voice soft but firm. "Keep trying," I say. The door's not wide open, but it's not locked either. He nods, a faint smile breaking through, and walks to the car, where Harper waits. I stay on the porch, the snow dusting my sweater, and look at the new sign I placed by the gate. Hargrove House, Legacy of Memory. It's not just a name. It's a vow to protect this place, and the woman I've become. Back inside, I sit at the kitchen table, the clock ticking softly, and open my journal. I write. I don't need their love to be whole. But I'll keep a crack in the door, for Harper. For possibility. The words feel final, a quiet triumph that settles in my bones. I close the journal, my eyes drifting to the necklace, the ring, the book on the table, pieces of me, stitched together not by pain, but by choice. A home I've made mine again. Rachel's threats and Ethan's mistakes. Their shadows now fading against the light I've found. I'm Sylvia Hargrove. And this is my story. Not of loss, but of coming home to myself. Thank you for listening to my story. Please subscribe to this channel. Give this story a thumbs up and let me know in the comment if I acted rightly. Also, how would you have acted if you were in my shoes? Please stay safe and I'll see you in the next video.